Hey everybody, welcome back here for another video. Now, one of the earliest videos I did on my channel was how they were planning to kill off Doctor Strange. At the point in time, that was when Spider-Man movie was out and Doctor Strange was going to be playing a major role in it, and I talked about how Marvel was planning to kill off Doctor Strange and replace him with his ex-wife Clea Strange. This is her here in the cover for Strange #1 that was to come out. The story did come out, and exactly as I predicted, or should I say much like I predicted, the first issue is out, and it has turned out pretty much exactly what I thought it would be. Pretty much exactly what I thought it would be. Now, I'm just going to go through a quick few things in this comic to talk about what it is I was reiterating about how they were going to do with this character. But first, let me just say, Clea Strange is not a new character to Marvel. She has been around for quite some time, and she debuted somewhere back quite a long time ago, and she and Stephen Strange have always had a relationship, and they've gone back and forth on all these things throughout it with that. Now, that being said, Clea Strange was, I think she's the Sorcerer Supreme of the Dark Dimension. She isn't human, right? And I believe her uncle is Dormammu, so she has warrior instincts and all this stuff. Now, Marvel never does a good job with these things when they try to sell the name by gender swapping someone. So let me show you a few things in this issue that sort of stuck out to me. Now, it starts off relatively simple enough at the Bleecker Street place here, and you have Clea Strange like she's kind of hungover or something, you know, and goes over there to the door, and boom, it's Doctor Doom. Now, the thing about it is that Doctor Doom could very well be a candidate for Sorcerer Supreme. Not only is he genius, he's also a genius with magic. Yes, he is a villain at times, but let's stick to the point here. This is Doctor Doom we're talking about. Not somebody you want to talk down to or mess with. But here we have Clea, and she's facing Doctor Doom and like, oh, she really business, and one than the other, and this and that, and all of that nonsense, right? So Doctor Doom is there because he believes that he should have a claim at the title of Sorcerer Supreme. Clea doesn't want to hear it. She's sipping her coffee, and I must point out that the art style, and this is a little weird at times, but I'll get into that a little bit. And she's very rude and disrespectful to Doctor Doom of all people. I mean, he's telling everything, and she's grinning like she doesn't even business. And it starts a trend in this comic that has to happen with, I mean, like literally every other page, she or somebody else is mentioning that she's the Sorcerer Supreme, I'm the Sorcerer Supreme, I'm the Sorcerer Supreme, the Sorcerer Supreme, to the point where it gets absolutely ridiculous. You are who you are. But this is something that the same that happened when Marvel had Jane Foster before. Pretty much every other page, every other thing, she had to mention that somebody had to mention that she's Thor. I mean, this is when you don't get these characters to stand on their own. You have to somehow, think, and then here's it, I will not be spoken to as such in my place of power, and she pretty much ends up telling Doctor Doom to go back to his country and cry, and she don't care what he has to say, and he could run along. I mean, it was totally disrespectful. She pretty much told Doctor Doom of all people to go screw himself. Absolutely ridiculous at certain points. You know, and I mean, in another one, he storms off, and she's all, you know, this is not over which, and she's all Sorcerer Supreme, and it's about the same thing I'm talking about. You just keep using this like it's some sort of crutch for it. And another thing, we have Wong of all people, who has had a relationship with Stephen Strange for years, and yet after what happens to him, Wong has basically become like some kind of alcoholic or something, and he just wants to drink away his problems, and they keep rambling on about coffee and going to get coffee, and GW, you need coffee, I need coffee, I need coffee, it's a waste of time, and this I'll talk about the art style keeps changing and looking very, I don't even want to use the word weird, but it does. It doesn't look very, very weird. And speaking of how bad the art style looks, right? Now, Cersei Lannister from Game of Thrones started this thing about women having to be, she made it famous with women drinking wine while touching something, but it's kind of gone off now. Every time some woman has to be doing something, she has to be drinking wine. And speaking of the art style, look at it over here. You see, she's drinking it, and the wine is all up in her nose and everything, and I don't even know how that's supposed to make sense. How it's supposed to be, you know, realistic or anything. And as you can see, the art style keeps changing with her looking somehow one way and then another, and it's just very, very confusing. Just see if I could find one more here. Right. And then they go to these weird dialogue with a lot of these dialogue boxes all over the place, and it's again another change to the art style or the inking or whatever. It just it's weird and it's confusing, very weird and confusing. Now, I've heard some people say that, you know, it's not a bad issue. Now, let me just say, some people are saying that people gave it a bad outing before it even came out. Some people were saying it was woke and it was going to be this, it was going to be that. I was one of those people. I was one of those people saying it, and I will own why I was saying it. All right, I will own my reason as to why I was saying it. I have stated before, and I will say again, a lot of these comic industries, both Marvel, Disney, Marvel or DC, sorry, don't take the time to properly build up their female characters or build up other characters. They just swap them in and then try to say, well, okay, we're going to sell the name by gender swapping this character. And another thing with Clea in this one, she's much more brutal than Stephen Strange ever was. And the story is very predictable because we all know, and she has said it in the comic, and she keeps saying that she intends to bring back Doctor Strange, sorry. She's going to bring him back. Okay, no problem with that. We all right with you wanting to bring back Stephen Strange. We all know that was going to happen, but it's kind of telling us what's going to happen before. Now, the concept isn't bad, but what I think would have made a little more sense would have been had you run it like Stephen Strange ended up dying. Okay, you want to do that, it happens a lot in Marvel, okay. But he left Clea to appoint the next Sorcerer Supreme. But she has no intention of doing that because she intends to bring him back. And she's secretly working on doing that. She hasn't taken the title of Sorcerer Supreme because she doesn't need to take the title of Sorcerer Supreme. She's already powerful enough on her own. She can already do anything. And she is just there guarding the place until he comes back and does stuff. Now, had you introduced a title with her alone for a little while now to build people up to what she can do, how she can do things, a different way of doing stuff, you would have gotten people a lot more interested. But you didn't do that. For people who are not aware of who Clea Strange is, you kind of just swapped her in and you're selling it on the name. And in this comic, the first issue of this Strange, number 1, you can see that very clearly. The execution is done very poorly. Very, very poorly. You have her constant, or somebody constantly every other page having to reiterate that somebody's the Sorcerer Supreme, the Sorcerer Supreme, the Sorcerer Supreme. If you need to keep making references to say that, okay, we're trying to cement who this person is, you failed already. That's 1. 2, female characters can stand on their own without needing to be gender swapped for their male counterparts. And that is exactly what you've done here, because the fact that you need to make her brutal and violent, all kind of thing, she may very well be so. But she wasn't always so in the past, but she may very well be so. But you're trying to show that, okay, she is new this and she must be this and she must be this. It's kind of the same thing you did with Jane Foster's Thor, and that fell hard. This comic turned out, the first issue of this comic turned out to be exactly what I said it would be, and I make no apologies for what I said about it being another woke gender swap nonsense. Have somebody stand on their own. If Stephen Strange is Dr. Strange, Sorcerer Supreme, you don't need to swap somebody in and say, well, okay, this person could do that. Clea Strange can stand on her own. If she is just there, like, protecting his seat until she brings him back, okay. Show that she builds up of her, she's not somebody to be messed with. And you can do that. But when you have her basically telling Dr. Doom of all people to go screw himself, that's disrespectful. Dr. Doom has earned a reputation to be feared. But you want to build up this character like she's some alpha female and nobody must mess with. And in doing that thing, you start to kill off what's good about it, because you haven't given the character any kind of growth. And you see that very clearly in this comic. The reason why it has failed miserably, and I'm saying it failed miserably, and I've seen other people say that as well, why the execution failed miserably is because you did not do enough to build this character, to give her anything to stand on, and expect people to just be happy about that. No. You got to show what you can show, you got to show what you can do. This wasn't executed well at all. A lot of the art style was very weird. I still don't know what is this thing with her drinking and the wine all up in her nose, constantly changing the way the art looks is very, very disappointing. Her behavior towards Dr. Doom of all people is not good at all. She comes very arrogant and acts like she doesn't care, and Dr. Doom has earned the right to be respected, and I can only see him coming back later to do something, and they're not going to turn into this whole big power thing. But come on, build up your characters before you just swap them in, and you won't end up in these situations. But when you don't, this is what you get. So I called it. I said it was going to be exactly like this. It turned out to be exactly like this, and this is just the first issue. So God alone knows what's going to happen going forward. Anyway, that's it for me here. If you like the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments what you think about this whole Clea Strange in Strange #1. If you've read it, if you haven't read it, what your thoughts are about it. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care.